What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I am your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Mac, and I am here in the car with my 2023 Laserdisc movie collection. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do you have Laserdisc movies in your car, PMM? Well, that's a stupid question, because I have a Laserdisc player installed in my car. Who doesn't? All right, I am riding with Tight White because I am Tight White's biggest fan. You can call me Stan. Now, I have approximately, 500, 600 Laserdisc. I figure we're going to break this down into 4, 5, 6 videos at the max. And in this video, we're going to go over, in the first episode here, the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's. Yes, D's nuts. Now, what was I going to say? I said in a prior video that Laserdisc database, I don't know what's going on with this website. I had all my movies cataloged on there, lost my account, and now it's not letting me find my account. Like, it's just lost somewhere. And so it's driving me nuts. When I'm out in the wild and I see a movie, I don't know if I have it or not. I can't memorize all these movies. So this is the reason why I'm doing this, so I can catalog on video A through Z. So when I'm out in the wild, I can just go back to this video and find out what movies I have per letter. Now, of course, I know I'm not going to get a lot of views in these videos, but that's fine with me. It's also cool to show off what I have. And a lot of this stuff, more of the mainstream movies, I don't really want, or some of them I don't really want. So if anybody's up for a trade or wants something, just let me know. Obviously, you have to be somebody I know. If I don't know you, you need to have a YouTube account with some kind of credibility. Let's start with the numeric movies. All right, first up here, 12 Monkeys. I don't really feel like this movie got a lot of love when it was first released. Obviously, Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt. And but over the years, I felt like this movie has gotten a cult following, and people love it. I have not seen this movie, I'm going to tell you right now, in probably, 15, 20 years. Am I exaggerating? It says 1995. No, I am not exaggerating. Oh, well, I am exaggerating, yeah. I felt like I saw this movie when it first came out. Oh, no, that would be right. Yeah, I probably saw this about 20 years ago. All right, next up here. This is factory sealed, by the way. I don't know if this is worth any money. I hate opening stuff like this. I think Retro Tiburon sent me this, if I remember correctly. I don't know where. It's got a Laser Blazer sticker, which is a really cool name for a Laserdisc outlet, I guess. Light years ahead of its time, 2001, Space Odyssey, factory sealed, deluxe letterboxed edition, which means, letterboxed means widescreen, guys. A lot of the VHS films were only in full screen, and then when Laserdisc came out, that's one of the big deals, that they had widescreen movies. All right, next up here, Army of Darkness. Now, I don't really like the plastic on it, and I was taking some of it off so there wouldn't be no reflection in these videos. But I did want to show you a lot of this stuff I picked up from Goodwill's. I picked up a lot of lots from Goodwill. I didn't mention that, but so I got that for $2.99. I'll go ahead and rip the plastic off now. But that's really the reason I got into Laserdisc. Not, of course they're badass, you know what I'm saying? They're like 5 times the size of a DVD. And only rich people had this medium when it first came out. but or people that were willing to spend a tremendous amount of money. But yeah, so most of the Laserdiscs that I picked up were in big lots at Goodwill. Now, Army of Darkness, this is one of my least favorites of the Evil Dead films. I prefer Evil Dead 1, 2, definitely over Army of Darkness. It's got too much comedy in it for me. It's a good film, I just don't love it like everybody else. Alright, widescreen letterbox edition. I know my buddy Tylord sent me this because it's got Rasputin's sticker on it. 95 cents. This is a, I guess a boxed edition. It's not in the best of shape. This is the problem with these Laserdiscs, these cardboard. They're made of cardboard, so that's no way that's going to hold up over the years. Pulling them off the shelf and throwing them back on the shelf. But the cool thing about Laserdisc, man, they really had the color artwork. I mean, look at this shit, man. This is just badass. They went all the way out with these Laserdiscs. There's no way you're getting this from Blu-rays unless you're getting some kind of boutique label edition. Now, let me put this all back together. We got a lot of movies to go through. I can't be spending too much time on one movie. Abyss, or The Abyss. I haven't seen this in years. All right, here's another copy. So this is up for trade. One of these. I'll probably keep this one because I don't like that box edition, the condition. This is called a gatefold. And this is also a widescreen edition. Next up, we got 2 horror movies. The one thing about my Laserdisc collection, not so much in the bottom half of the movies for whatever reason, the A's, B's, and C's, and D's, but it's very horror movie heavy and also cheesy action film horror movie heavy. So when I got into this, you know, I picked up some mainstream stuff, but the big interest for me into Laserdisc was picking up movies that had never been released on DVD or Blu-ray. And there's a lot of movies like that. So I was going after some of those titles. Some of those are very expensive though, but not so much the mainstream stuff. And I'm kind of getting out of that now. I want to kind of get rid of a lot of my mainstream stuff. But anyway, collecting horror movies from Laserdisc, I'm all about that. The Amityville Horror, the first movie here. And then we have Amityville 2, The Possession, which I think both of them are pretty solid horror flicks. Based on a true story. This is in, Amityville? I think Eminem had an Amityville song. And also, Amity, wasn't Amity the town of, not Amityville, but Amity was the town of Jaws movie? Wouldn't that be cool if this was in the Jaws universe? Amityville house. Right up the street from our boy Chief Brody. I think Amityville 2 was solid too, if I remember correctly. Alright, everybody's favorite. I'm still more of an Alien guy than an Aliens. I respect the movie, I love it, but the first film to me was just so groundbreaking. This is the big boxed edition here, Aliens Special Widescreen Collector's Edition. And this one is actually held up. It's crazy that this is just not a cover. It actually has a hinge on it, but it's like a paper hinge. It's like crazy. The reason why these don't last. This is actually in good shape. And again, with this, the extras are so nice on these Laserdiscs. It's got restoration notes. It has a description of each chapter, what happens in the chapter, concept stuff. Yeah, man, really cool. For whatever reason, this comes in 1, 2, 3, 4 Laserdiscs. Now, a lot of the movies do come on 2, sometimes 3, but I'm not sure why 4. one of those has to be just nothing but bonus features. It does have some interviews with James Cameron, behind the scenes footage. So yeah, one of those is definitely just bonus footage, which is cool. I don't think I've ever watched, I don't believe I've ever watched this edition. You know, it's funny with Laserdisc, it kind of gets pushed to the side sometimes because I'm watching so much DVD and Blu-rays nowadays. But I kind of watch them in like in bundles. I'll get into it for a little while, and then I'll push it off to the side and watch DVDs and Blu-rays. I really kind of need to get back to it because there's a lot of films that I picked up originally that I've not even watched, which is crazy. Now, this is a flop of a film. I really adore the relationship, the acting relationship between Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. They had so many films that just blew my mind. There's movies that I can't remember the name of the movie. Should be coming to the top of my head. By the way, another Goodwill pickup, $1.99 on that. But I think this is one of the later movies they did before Richard Pryor died. And I don't even remember finishing this film. It's really, really bad. Oh, here you go. Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. 3 classics. One of them is the one where they go to prison and they have to ride. I think it's Stir Crazy, where they ride the rodeo bulls and stuff like that. The one movie, I think it's See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Maybe it's Silver Streak. I think it's Silver Streak, where they get locked up and Richard Pryor tells Gene Simmons' character, he's like, we got to act tough in here because there's a bunch of guys that we're going to end up getting raped and killed. So they start acting like they're tough guys. And I swear to God, it's the most like simplistic comedy you'll ever see. But I cry laughing every time I see it. I can't prepare for it. I cannot not cry laughing. It is so funny when they're in jail trying to act like they're tough guys. I love those guys, man. They're so good together. I was thinking, is there anybody today the equivalent to their relationship? Like a white-black actor? I cannot think of anyone. Obviously, after this, it was Eddie Murphy took over like the Richard Pryor type of roles. But who, like, Nick Nolte wasn't funny. Like, who was the guy, who was like the guy with Eddie Murphy, like a white actor that was really good? I can't think of anybody. Probably the best comedy duo in, I don't know, since I've been alive. Yeah, that movie sucked, unfortunately. It's another Goodwill pickup here, $1.99. I think I watched this when I first picked up the Laserdisc. And this is alive. This is that it says they were extraordinary young men driven to the very limits of human endurance. This is a cannibal film where they actually had to start eating the people that died of hunger when their plane crashed in the Andes Mountains. So based on a true story. You know, people started dying and they were like, well, we're going to die too. So they started eating the people that were dead. Crazy, man. Great name for a film too, about cannibalism, Alive. All right, so this, I don't know, I guess you'd call this a guilty pleasure of mine. I used to watch like these are kind of like chick flicks, I guess. But they had guys in them. It wasn't like, you know, it was all women. About Last Night. What was that, the Brat Pack? Yeah, the Brat Pack, or some of the people from the Brat Pack, I guess. But this had a young James Belushi in it as well, a super young Demi Moore. There was a few films like this. I can't remember all of them. There's like 3 of them that had a lot of the same actors in it. Was that the Brat Pack? Maybe not. Is that the Breakfast Club actors that were the Brat Pack? Or was Rob Lowe part of the Brat Pack? I don't know. About Last Night, yeah, I have memories of that. I watched that as a kid, man. Nostalgic about that. All right, so everybody's favorite drunk. Another movie I watched as a kid religiously, Arthur 2 on the Rocks. And he's just a hilarious drunk guy, man, that was rich as shit, if I remember correctly. So you thought as a kid that drunk people are so rich, and then you see like at a Thanksgiving party where a guy gets drunk, or one of your family members gets drunk and hits another family member, and the train wreck starts. You're like, oh man, drunkenness is not exactly that funny as Arthur made it seem. But yeah, I remember that as a kid. Loved that film, and of course the first one. Everybody knows this one. Another Goodwill pickup, Air Force One. A movie that I have not seen before. It's an old film. This has got to be early 70s. Around the World in 80 Days. Winner of 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Wow. So you're supposed to navigate the globe in 80 days. This was from... So that's 1984? Can that be right? I thought I was a lot older than that. Anyway, maybe one day I'll see that. Probably not. That's one of those movies I'll trade to somebody. Alright, I was so into stuff like this as a kid. Whether it was Twilight Zone, Creep Show, Tales from the Dark Side, all those. This is like one of those similar styles, Amazing Stories. This is book 4 right here, and yeah, this is like along the same lines as like a Tales from the Dark Side. And one of these, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen this. This comes with 3 stories, and the first story, which is really cool, is directed by Martin Scorsese, called Mirror Mirror. And it's got another episode called Blue Man Down. It's a police officer film, and then Mr. Magic. I'm already running out of room in my car for this. Alright, everybody's favorite werewolf movie, if not The Howling. I'm still on the fence about that. I'm not sure if I like The Howling better than this. But definitely one of the best. Everybody knows this film. American Werewolf in London. Such amazing special effects. Yeah, man. Cool film there. Next up, we have an Alien movie. God, it's been a minute since I've seen a lot of these movies. This is a Martin Sheen movie. I'm sorry, Charlie Sheen before he had tiger blood. He was sniffing cocaine all day. Or maybe he was sniffing cocaine back then. The Arrival. Oh, cool film, man. Underrated. You don't hear a lot of people talk about that. Alright, one of everybody's favorite creature features. Anaconda. Ice Cube. Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, man. I like that cover art, man. Simple, but very effective. Next up, we have probably my favorite sci-fi film of all time, Alien. The OG, Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean, John Hurt, E.M. Holm. Extended play. So this right here would be, this would actually be a full screen version of it, which kind of sucks. I'm pretty sure this is full screen. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. How do you even know? Usually they tell you if it's widescreen, so I'm going to assume that it's full screen. All right, you know, how can I not pick this up? I think I picked this up off of Amazon. I saw the artwork. Dolph Lundgren, a cover full of fire, a Lamborghini in the back with cop cars with patrol lights blazing. Army of One. It's high caliber action from start to finish when Wellman Stanty Lundgren goes gunning for his money and running for his life after his partner is killed during a botched heist. That's some seriously badass artwork. That's the kind of shit I collect on Laserdisc, guys. Alright, everybody knows the story of the Alamo. I tried to watch this Laserdisc and got probably 2 hours into it. I think it's like 18 hours long. Man, it's kind of hard to watch, man. It's just way too long. Deluxe letterbox edition, John Wayne, obviously. And, you know, the story of the Alamo, we lost. You know, so it's kind of, when you're watching, you're like, man. I want to say I watched this in school. Like, they made us watch this in school, if I remember correctly. In history class. So it kind of sucks that we lost the Alamo. You know, when you're watching the movie, you really start feeling for the characters. And I'm not like I guess John Wayne's more of my parents' time, so I'm not really a big John Wayne guy. But I remember John Wayne being really good in this, there was some really good Richard Widmark, Lawrence Harvey, and Richard Boone. You really find yourself liking the characters, but you know they're going to die, so it kind of sucks. Some movies, when you know the ending, it really ruins it. God, I can't even fit any more Laserdiscs in there. Shit, my salad! Damn it! Alright, screw it. We don't have too many A's left. Then we'll pause it and I'll get the B's out the trunk. Alright, one of my favorite Tupac movies right here, Above the Rim. Soundtrack is incredible on this. Lots of Tupac songs. And now this is one of those films, like, let me give you a good example. Let's try to give you a good example here. So this is the thing with Laserdisc. So VHS, I grew up on VHS. Now, I don't know if this is a great example. This might be a good example. So VHS were just like, when Laserdisc came out, it was like so much better than VHS. But they cost so much money that only people that had money would get them and stuff. So whenever DVDs came out, they were more affordable than Laserdisc players. Like, you get a DVD player, that of course you had PS2s that came out, which was you could play games and watch DVDs. So they were much more convenient than Laserdisc. That's why Laserdisc never really took off the way that DVDs, and by the way, DVDs, shout out to DVDs. Like, DVDs are still a thing. They still make DVDs, what, 40 years later or however long? It's incredible. But, so when DVDs came out, the quality was a little better than the Laserdisc, right? But for some of the older release Laserdisc, like this one, Airplane, we'll talk about in a little while, some of the first releases on Laserdisc, that you can tell that DVDs look better than them. But some of the later releases, you can watch these films and you will forget you're watching a Laserdisc. It literally is the same as DVD quality. So a lot of Laserdiscs are DVD quality. Don't think that they're not. As far as sound is concerned, you can get just as good sound out of your Laserdisc player. They were known for sound, guys. So the best sound system I've ever had hooked up in my house was connected to a Laserdisc player. I'll bullshit you not. So, but back to this, it says on the back, better than White Men Can't Jump? Maybe. Quite possibly. I'm not even lying to you. I mean, this is a really phenomenal film. Spoiler, it's kind of funny that the least famous Wayans brother kills Tupac at the end of this film. Marlon Wayans, the gangster, right there. Look at that guy. Look at that gangster. But yeah, man, it's got lots of great actors in it. Soundtrack's amazing. The basketball action is really incredible. Love it. Tupac's great in this. Incredible film. All right, let's go to this. I mean, you know, we talk about simplistic humor that really, you know, is just so good. this, you cannot get more simplistic than the comedy in this film, and it's aged amazingly. You can watch this, you know, 80, 90, 2000. This is over 40 years old. You can put it in your Laserdisc player right now and laugh your ass off at every minute of it. It's so hilarious. Airplane, love it. Half Price Books, pickup right there. All right, getting into some stuff that I really do not have any interest. When I was growing up, I did not watch Rocky and Bullwinkle at all. We have classic stuff here. It says Laserdisc double feature, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, it's got 2 episodes in the spellbinding volume. Oh no, I didn't say the, what is the names of the damn, oh, Vincent Van Moose and Blue Moose. Next up here we have another double feature. La Grande Moose and Canadian Gothic. All right, classic here, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. And the last of the A's, guys. Shout out to Clint Eastwood. What a career he's had as far as acting and directing. I was reading today, I think that Clint Eastwood is like 94 years old. So, I mean, it's inevitable. We're about to lose Clint Eastwood, you know, in the not so distant future. It's part of life. And, wow, will he really be mourned, his career. And, you know, I think all of his fans are really going to dive and delve into his, not only his acting career, but also his filmography as far as directing. And I got the feeling if there's not collectors right now out there, after he passes, hopefully it's not in the too near future, they'll be collecting his, you know, the stuff that'll live on forever, hopefully. I don't remember this film, to be honest with you. I'm sure I saw it. I think it's a presidential film. And I believe he acted and directed this one. Produced, okay, he also was a producer as well. So he did it all. He produced, directed, and starred in this film. All right, that's it for the A's. I'm going to go in the trunk and pop it and get the B's out. All right, guys, I'm going to try to race through this because I'm already coming up on the 30-minute mark, and we're just starting the B's here. I had to change locations because of the sun, and after we finish the B's, I'm going to have to go back home, get the C's together, and the D's together, and organize that, and then we'll finish this video off. First movie from the B's, The Bridge of the River Kwai. I know this won, like, awards and stuff like that. I've never seen the film. Be straight up with you on that. Looks like a nice addition. All right, Mel Gibson, Braveheart. The heck is this? Oh, some kind of extras. There's really no room in this car for this type of activity here. All right, another. This, you know what? I've never seen The Boxer, and I do like Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't think I've ever seen The Boxer. It's another gatefold here. I'm not gonna open them all up. I have not seen the Beethoven films in years, guys. First Beethoven, Beethoven second. One of Leonardo DiCaprio's early films, Basketball Diaries. I remember watching that way back a long time ago with a bunch of times. I've seen this film probably 5 to 10 times. It's got a great soundtrack. Soundgarden, Jim Carroll with Pearl Jam, The Cult, The Doors, Flea, to name a few. All right, here's another factory sealed movie that I don't dare to open. The classic, A Bronx Tale. Sorry about the glare that has the, obviously it's factory sealed. Back to the Future 3. I'm kind of surprised I don't have Back to the Future 1 and 2 on Laser. Widescreen edition. Another Goodwill pickup. I'll leave the Goodwill stickers on there just so I remember where I got them from. This is something sent to me from Ty Lord. Another Rasputin sticker on here. Blazing Saddles. Obviously weird watching that nowadays. They dropped the N-bomb like 1,000 times in that movie. Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop 2. I should have Beverly Hills Cop 1 somewhere in here. Classic. Bad Boys. I don't think I've watched Bad Boys from start to finish. I know. It's crazy. And this is factory sealed as well. Babe. I don't think I've seen that either. I probably need to watch more stuff like that more often instead of all these crazy horror films. Alright, I remember when the crazy video game nerd did the, where he was like, it's not Berenstain. When I grew up, it was Berenstein, or something like that. But yeah, the Berenstain Bears celebration. I don't remember these as a kid, so I don't know. Somehow they missed me. All right, one of my favorite films of all time, Boys in the Hood. This is the Criterion Collection. Very nice. John Singleton, rest in peace, man. Amazing director. I look forward to watching... I don't have it now, but I look forward to a physical release of Snowfall to be released one day. Although I don't think John Singleton had he died, I guess, during. So I want to say that he was responsible for like the first season, maybe even the second season. But it was a brainchild of his, and that whole Snowfall thing is supposed to be pretty tremendous. And I love a lot of his movies, so I want to see that Snowfall, or maybe it'll come out in something like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something, so I can watch it. I saw the first season of it; it's really good. All right, we have Bottle Rocket. I remember this when it first came out. I don't know. I thought it was kind of overrated. It's good. It's just not great. All right, here's another movie. I'm going to get some hate on this one, man. I have never seen The Blues Brothers. I swear to God. And I was watching a Laserdisc podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it, the other day, and one of the guys had not seen it, and they were giving him a hard time about it, and they're like, you got to see it. It's life-changing. Now, whether it's life-changing or not, this must have like 10 discs in it. I've never seen anything like it. Why are there so many discs in this? It's incredible. All right, we have David Lynch's Blue Velvet. Trippy film. Tommy Lee Jones in Black Moon Rising. And you might remember the lady here, Linda Hamilton from Terminator. I watched this probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago for the first time. Or maybe I was watching it for the second time, and I just don't remember. But man, this is really funny. Highly recommend, if you guys have not seen this, to check it out. It is absolutely hilarious. Beavis and Butthead Do America. Oh, I meant to take all these plastics off so there wouldn't be a glare. I need to watch this again. I can't remember. I was falling asleep when I watched this one night. Not sure what interested me in this. I think it was maybe the chick that's in this is super hot. Bullies. I do like that cover. All right, we have Breakdown, which is a great, like, road thriller, I would say. Road, it's not really horror, but like road thriller film. You don't get much better than this one, man. This is kind of like on the lines of, kind of like a Hitcher type of movie. Really good shit, man. Kurt Russell and Breakdown. Sorry, guys, I keep saying this, but man, I just have not shown enough love to my Laserdisc collection. And I don't own these on DVD or Blu-ray. I really need to go watch all this stuff or get rid of it. Barbarella, Jane Fonda, Queen of the Galaxy. I've never seen this film. James Fonda used to be hot as hell, too. I want to say she's before my time, but her beauty is not before my time. I'll tell you that much by looking at the back of it. I think I was trying to think of this guy's name in the last video I did when I was talking about body horror. And, yeah, David Cronenberg. How can I forget his name? This is a cool film, man. This is a body horror film, like, all the way to the, all the way, I don't know what I'm saying, all the way to. It's a body horror film, like, 100%, The Brood. Kind of like those look. It's kind of like a black box, almost like Nintendo black box, and it has the discs on the side, or the two sides of the Laserdisc. Looks pretty badass. It's got a nice look to it. Trippy film, man. All right, there's the first Beverly Hills Cop. I ain't gotta say shit about those, man. Y'all know about those films. They're classics. Blade Runner. Cyborg royalty right there. Black Sheep, very, very funny comedy. Highly enjoyed this one, man. Rest in peace to our boy, man, Chris Farley. He's like totally annoying Chris Spade throughout the film. Not Chris Spade, David Spade throughout the movie. It's funny, man. Good shit. Black Sheep, man. Check it out if you haven't seen it. The classic Beetlejuice. I remember being underwhelmed by this. I do like Jamie Lee Curtis. And what's the other guy's name? I don't like the other guy in this. Ron Silver. I like Ron Silver in films, but yeah, I was underwhelmed by it. Cop movie. Almost to the end here. I need to take the plastic. I'll do it right now. Drives me nuts. Blown Away. Bomb film. Kind of like Speed a little bit without the bus. I prefer Speed over it. Didn't really blow me away. Yeah, we got a lot more here than I thought. I'm going to have to do something here. I'm going to have to situate things. All right, James Cagney and Blood on the Sun. This is something I don't really care to keep. Old school film. It's like a 50s film. Next up here we have... Oh shit, I'm like breaking the Laserdisc cover here. Why am I doing this? I don't have to do this now. It's going to take too much time. Batman and Robin, Goodwill pickup there. Let me race through this. Oh, this is a really cool film, man. I'm a huge fan of Mark Singer in the original Beastmaster movie. This is Beastmaster 2, Through the Portals of Time, where he travels in to modern day society and brings all his animals and stuff, the ferrets and, you know, the tiger, as you can see right there. And yeah, man, really fun film, man. Love the Beastmaster series. That's a Half Price Books pickup. $3.99 on that. That was a great deal on that. I think this is actually worth some money. Next up, we have Matthew Broderick, definitely a part of my childhood. Biloxi Blues. Haven't seen that in forever, but I've seen it before multiple times. That's also got our boy Christopher Walken in it. Christopher Walken, I think, is the kind of the drill sergeant role. He plays the drill sergeant. He's the hard ass in this, Christopher Walken. Next up here, man, another Tupac film. So out of all the Tupac films, this is the darkest of all of them. You know, if Tupac had, you know, pop songs like I Get Around, and then he had like hardcore, like gangster rap songs you'd find on, you know, side 2 that never get a radio release. This is the equivalent right here, Bullet. He's a nasty individual in this film. And Mickey Rourke is great in this. Mickey Rourke and this other Italian guy who was supposed to be like this ladies man, he's always like trying to get under his skin and telling him he's gay. And his friend's like banging all the hottest women, but Mickey Rourke has a way of getting under his skin and making him feel like he's gay, and it works. Like, it just pisses his friend off. It's so hilarious. But man, the crazy thing about this film is you got such like really Mickey Rourke's such a, you know, great actor and stuff, and everybody was loving Tupac at the time, but the guy who kind of, and a young Adrian Brody is in this. It's got some great actors in it, but one of the guys, Ted Levine from you know, Silence of the Lambs, you know, put the lotion in the box, you know, that guy is friggin' like Mickey Rourke's I don't know, just a total bum of a brother, but he's like, he's got screws loose in his head. They're both still living at home with their dad, and their dad's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? He's like getting on their case saying, y'all motherfuckers need to get a job and shit. And fucking Ted Levine's like running around in his underwear, farting and shit, sitting at the dinner table. And he ends up being like a badass in this film, man. He's he kind of steals the show there. But yeah, this is a cult film right here, if I've ever seen one. This is a true definition of one. One of my favorites, Bullet, guys. By the way, I own every Tupac Laserdisc movie. You'll see all of them during this this collection series. Next up, we have Batman Returns. Half-price books pickup. We have a movie called Blood Match. Yeah, Tyler sent this to me and he really liked it. Listen, it's from the director of Cyborg and Kickboxer 2, which are two phenomenal films. But I'm going to go ahead and say this. I found I was underwhelmed by this. I did not love this film. The crazy thing about it is this is the guy that's in this, the actor, Tom Matthews, I didn't know, was in like these fighting films, but he's also Tommy in the Friday the 13th series in a couple of the movies. I just thought he was on that. I didn't know he was in these like Blood Match type of movies and stuff. But Blood Match is a unique film. It just did not hit for me. I don't know. There was something about it. I just was like, that's just all right. Nothing crazy. All right, next up we have Body Parts. Isn't Body Parts a for some reason, who directed this? I thought that I don't know, I thought somebody else directed it. I thought Wes Craven directed that for some reason. Next up we have some Walt Disney films, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Don't remember anything about these. Never seen them. Another absolute classic, man. I love this film. He's given like, I don't know how many million, but he's got to spend it like in 30 days or some kind of time period, but he can't spend like 1 cent over. And if he spends 1 cent over, then he loses everything. But if he spends exactly $1 million and keeps all the receipts and everything, then he gets $1 million in cash, a prize or something like that. It's got John Candy, rest in peace. Both of those guys, rest in peace, actually. Yeah, one of my favorites, man. Brewster's Millions. Broken Arrow. This is a cheesy film that I probably saw when it first came out. I need to revisit it. Another Disney film here, The Black Hole. I tried to watch this and I was bored as hell. So I don't know. Does it get better? Let me know. And then the last film here, this is like a voodoo type of movie. I remember seeing this when I was young, man. I think I saw this when it first came out, but I rewatched it probably a couple years ago too. And it's held up. Pretty cool film. It's a John Schlesinger film. And it's got our boy Martin Sheen in it. But it's about voodoo and stuff, and I don't know where they're at. Part of this. Well, they're in New York, actually. For some reason, I was thinking they were in Louisiana. It reminds you of one of those Louisiana-based voodoo flicks. A cool horror film. This is an HBO video movie. All right, guys, I'm gonna go back home and get the C's and D's organized, and we'll finish this video up. I'm at what, 27, 37, 40. I'm about 45-minute mark, it looks like. So we're gonna have to race. Probably an hour and a half video. I'll keep it to, hopefully. All right, guys, we're at the C's now. I remember this movie being hyped up because it's from the author. Or it was an adaptation of the book from the same author that did Jurassic Park. And but the only problem is this Steven Spielberg had nothing to do with this film, Congo. So people watch this and they're like, this movie sucks compared to Jurassic Park. But I got some enjoyment out of it. It's a cheesy film. 1995's Congo. With old Ernie Hudson and who else is in this? Tim Curry. It's decent. Remember somebody shooting a flare gun out the window and blowing, like shooting a helicopter down or some shit with a flare gun. All right, this is a movie that I've seen a few years back. This is not bad at all, man. This is a movie that came out of nowhere. Looks like someone got this for $2 on clearance somewhere. China White. It's got one of my favorite actors in it, Billy Drago. I just love Billy Drago as a bad guy. There he is at the bottom right there, if you can see that. And basically, this is a, it says, throughout history, wars have raged over the control of the lucrative and deadly heroin market. So basically, rival gangs are warring over the heroin market. And I guess Billy Drago is the leader of one of the gangs. Good shit, man. Next up we have, I don't remember this. I don't think I watched this as a kid. Chippendales. Chippendale with Donald Duck. We got Stallone and Cliffhanger. It's one of my favorite witch movies of all time, The Craft. Love that film. Some of the special effects, or some of the effects do not hold up, but still love that film. And this is what I was talking about, like some of the older Laserdisc. Like this probably, when you watch this, you can probably say, wow, this just looks a little bit better than VHS. It's not nearly as good as DVD. You might get that when you see like an older Laserdisc like this. Anyway, classic here. Special edition of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Grew up on that shit. It's one of my favorite Disney movies from the past, I don't know, 20 years or so. Cool Runnings, man. I love this film. Really good film. That's really one of the last films that I saw John Candy in that was really good. So basically, he's the coach of a Jamaican bobsledding team, but they, none of the guys none of them have any experience. He has to train them from scratch, or like from, you know, they don't know anything about bobsledding. That's what I'm trying to say. It says the hilarious comedy everyone's cheering, inspired by Jamaicans. Oh, yes, right. This is actually based on a real story of these guys who had no experience, and this American coach got them together somehow and trained them. I'm not going to tell you if they win in the Olympics, if they get the gold. I'm going to let you guys watch it. Classic here. Conan the Barbarian. What can I say about this, man? Schwarzenegger's a beast. Next up here, we have City Slickers. Speaking of old Laserdisc, Caddyshack. It's probably the first time that I ever saw Rodney Dangerfield in a film. And quite possibly Chevy Chase as well. I think I saw Bill Murray in something before this. Definitely early in all their careers. Besides, I mean, Rodney was, you know, a veteran, you know, what am I saying? Comedian, not comedic. This right here is factory sealed, also from Laser Blazer, Casablanca. I don't know what I'm going to do with this sealed stuff. I think Tiburon sent me that as well. Some more sealed stuff. There's a classic film here as well. Letterbox edition of Casino. Martin Scorsese film, obviously. Speaking of factory sealed, another one here. I grew up on this, man. I love this shit. Crocodile Dundee. Great film, man. I think there was was there 3 of these? I don't remember now. I know 2 was really good as well. Quite possibly there's a 3rd film. This is a Half Price Books pickup. Shit, this might have been like 10 years ago I picked this up. Does it have a date on it? Oh, actually it does. No, I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong. This is 3 years ago. My bad. Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. Very controversial film when it first came out. When did this release? It's got some nasty home invasion stuff, but it's probably pretty tame compared to some of the stuff now, especially some of the extreme films. I don't see a year on this, but this is I would guess 70, 71 maybe. Next up here, this is a cool horror slasher film, Cutting Class. Probably the first time I saw Brad Pitt in a movie. It drags a little bit, but the final act in this film is brilliant, man. It is fucking phenomenal, man. Love the final act. It gets super cheesy and over the top, and it's got a great payoff. Cutting Class, man. Love it. Obviously the classic here, Coming to America. I always remember from this film, my black friends that I grew up with, they would, a lot of them would, some of them would stay with their grandparents or whatever. Maybe they're you know, whatever. Something happened where their grandparents were raising them. And almost all of them, their furniture would be in plastic. Like they'd have their furniture covered in plastic. So you'd sit on their couch and you'd be on you know, this plastic wrap that they got around their couch. And I always remembered this when I saw this film, and he goes over to Eddie Murphy's, the girl I think he meets at McDonald's that he ends up marrying. When he goes over to her family's house and you know, is introduced to them, when they sit back on the couch and then they get back up and you can see all the Jerry curl juice has soaked into the couch. So I always think about my black friends that I grew up with, how they had plastic on their couches. And when I saw this, I was like, Holy shit, that's why they had plastic. It was really important. I don't know, I find that funny. It's freaking hilarious. Old Jerry Curl juice. Sorry I'm saying the word classic a lot, but man, the Cable Guy. Another half-price books pickup. I got this on clearance for $2.99. Matthew Broderick's great in this. Jim Carrey is hilarious. It's got some dark undertones in it as well. It's not just like straight up light comedy. It's dark at times. Try to power through this, man. This is a lot of movies. We got Casper. I think Ricci was in this, wasn't she? I'm pretty sure she was. Yeah, Christina Ricci. And Bill Pullman. I think I remember that being pretty good. All right, next up we have Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. There's so many iterations of this. I don't know if this is the original. I'm not sure. I don't know what year this one was. Obviously, it's a black and white one. Or no, maybe it's not. I'm not sure. Next up here, we have a really good horror flick here. I'm gonna try to stop saying classic. The Changeling with our boy George C. Scott. I always remember the scene. It's really well shot where the red ball bounces from the top of the stairs all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, man, good stuff right there. This is kind of like I would say this is probably like an obscure slasher horror Australian exploitation film, Contagion. It's very, very trippy, man. It's hard to explain this film. Lots of dream sequences, lots of like bizarre shit going on in the film. Unfortunately, there is some disc rot, and that's one of the problems with collecting lasers. Certain companies and how you store these laser discs is important as well. Have issues with rotting disc, and you'll see like fuzziness and not a clear picture, and some of it's unwatchable. The latter half of this film is has a lot. I mean, you can still see it, but it screws it up. It's definitely not something I'd watch again, unfortunately, on in this condition. But the cover art's in great shape. Will I pick it up on laser again? Probably not. Unless I see it out in the wild, why not? All right, another half-price books pickup here. We got Sigourney Weaver and Holly Hunter in Copycat. Now, if I remember correctly, the killer was the, wasn't he a singer? Let me see. I could have swore that, Harry Connick Jr. I don't know, this film right here, I mean, there were so many great serial killer films out at the time. This is one of the ones that, probably the most forgettable for me. It was alright, nothing special. Alright, everybody knows this film here, Candyman. And I guess it was owned by L.L. Tyson. Great Clive Barker stuff there. I could have swore that we already... Oh, no, maybe that was Casino. So, Factory Sealed again. Carlito's Way. Starting to get a crazy amount of Factory Sealed shit. This is a really good film. I would say this is not... It's not up there with Goodfellas and Casino, but it's like right below that tier. Still very, very enjoyable. And it's got our boy in this. Was it Billy Blanco? We got Billy Blanco from the Bronx in this. Got an open copy here, Carlito's Way. Sean Penn is the lawyer in that film. Does a whole bunch of cocaine in that movie. And then we have another copy. So again, this is up for sale. This is a Goodwill pickup. Or not up for sale. This is up for trade. If somebody wants it, let me know. Next up here, we have Cat People. Man, I have not watched that in years. And we have 2 more films, and I gotta pop the trunk and grab the D's. Another movie I haven't watched in a long time. Goodwill pickup here, letterbox edition of Clockers. Some kind of hood movie. I was about to say Steven Seagal for some reason. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. 2 big thumbs up. All right, Last of the Seas. And some people might say this is the best of the seas. Stallone and Cobra. Absolutely love this film. I love movies where you have a badass like Stallone, right? This is probably the prototypical one. And he's supposed to go in and negotiate with a hostage situation. Negotiate with the hostage taker. And instead of going in and playing by the book and playing by the rules and trying to negotiate the lives of the innocent, he just goes in there blazing, shooting guns and fucking just firing shit. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. Some of the best one-liners. You're the disease. I'm the cure. This is totally one of the greatest films ever made. Love it. What a way to close out the seas. All right. Please hold. All right. Don't have much space on the phone here, so I might have to stop and delete some files or some footage. All right, next up here, To Die Standing. We're at the start of the D's here. Never seen it. Love the cover art. If you don't know what to do with cover art, just fill it with fire. That was a half-price books pickup. This is Goodwill. Doc Hollywood. Michael J. Fox, of course. Then we have some more Disney stuff. Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. Don't really care to own that. I'm sure there's some Walt Disney collector out there that's dying to have it. It's a movie that I've not seen. Picked it up for a couple of bucks at Goodwill. Dead Again. Know nothing about it. We have Wesley Snipes' Drop Zone. Cool action film. Dante's Peak. I don't think I've seen Dante's Peak. I need to check this out. I heard it's cheesy as hell. And again, I love Linda Hamilton. Who doesn't? We have a movie that I definitely have not seen. Goldie Hawn, Deceived. I do like Goldie Hawn. This is something that I would check out. It's supposed to be a psychological thriller. I remember seeing this after wanting to watch it for many, many years. I do respect Matt Dillon as an actor. And Kelly Lynch is super hot. But I just remember walking away thinking, it was decent. Nothing crazy. Drugstore Cowboy. Next up we have Dragonheart. Another factory sealed film here, Desperado. With Antonio Banderas. And then we got a girl in here. Why am I forgetting her name? I know who I'm talking about. This girl right here was like 55 years old and looks like she's 30 still. Unbelievable. Selma Hayek. Next up, we have Dick Tracy. Crazy how many of these movies I found at Goodwill. Kevin Costner's Dancing with the Wolves. Little gatefold action there. The Incredible, Demolition Man, Stallone and Snipes. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. They were both like on top of their game. Next up here is a horror flick, Demon Stone. Again, you don't know what to do with cover art. Just put fire on the cover and put Laserdisc on each side of it. It's amazing. Now, this has one of my favorite actors from R. Lee Ermey from, obviously, Full Metal Jacket, but also from a couple of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. He's in this film, so he makes this film great. And we also have Jan Michael Vincent in it. And, yeah, I remember liking this shit, man. Pretty good film. This chicken, like, caused all kinds... She's almost like Firestarter. That's basically what she is. She's like a grown-up Firestarter. Something like that. All right, next up here we have Devil's Advocate. How about Keanu Reeves? 20, 30 years later, still making films. John Wick, he's still a superstar. Next up here, we have Death Hunt. This is a cool film right here, man. This is one of the, you know, I guess kind of an early, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it's an early, because Charles Bronson, who I believe passed away. Rest in peace, Charles Bronson. But he's been in a ton of films and been making movies forever. But yeah, man, this is a cool film where it's a revenge film, and I love revenge films. And yeah, Charles Bronson revenge flick, out in like the winter, a winterland of death and destruction. Next up here, we have Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. These are cool films, man. I'm not the biggest puppetry guy, but I tell you what, some of these films, these Jim Henson films are really, really good. Dragon Slayer. Who doesn't like dragons? Then we have, this is like the most famous Laserdisc here, guys, if you don't know. Eraser for disc rot. It's like finding one of these without disc rot is like a miracle, I think. And I don't know. I don't think I've seen... I might have spun this one, actually. I might have spun this laser. I don't think it had disc rot. All right, what do we got here? Well, I only got 5 minutes left on that. Let's hurry through it, see if we can do it. DOA. Oh, this is badass cover art. So this one came with a cracked disc, but I ended up getting this on a DVD compilation. Deathstalker. Love the Deathstalker series. This creature is like a minotaur. He's not even in the movie. This is like false advertising like a motherfucker. But really cool series, Deathstalker films. Love them. And this is... Oh, I don't have time. We're going to rush through. All right, we have Dead Calm with Nicole Kidman. This is like an ocean horror film, or like an ocean slasher film. Death Calm. And it's got the guy from, what is his name? I don't have time. Let me see. What is his name? I can't find it. We gotta move on. Let me see what I got. 4 minutes left. All right, On Deadly Ground with Seagal. Darkman 3. And then we have Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I hear people talking about this film. If you watch this when you're a kid, you're going to be nostalgic about this. I never saw it when I was a kid. I did check it out. It's pretty hilarious. This little guy is like tormenting everybody, and he's tricking everybody. He's outwitting all these dumb people in town. They're trying to get his gold and shit, but he's way smarter than everybody. And then, last but not least of the C films, we have The Curse of the Dragon with Bruce Lee. The true story behind the man and the legend. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's. And I'll probably have another video up next weekend, moving on to the other letters in my Laserdisc 2023 collection. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out!